indefinite period. And it's a way of, it was kind of created as a way for people to support you that follow you and like your content or whatever. And I was heavy in that for a while because it was just fun to make money. But it's just got, to me, I got out of it. It just got so corrupt with the money stuff because people would recycle on there.
All right, guys, got Napoleon Dynamite here. Let's go. Patrick Cutler, thanks for hopping on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
From Montana, right?
Yeah.
Nice and quiet up there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's a nice place to hide out if you don't even find you.
Yeah, I've never been, but it's on my bucket list.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's Western Montana. If you go to Montana, go to Western Montana. That's where all the mountains, the whole east side has like nothing pretty much.
You like the quiet spots, man, because I know you spent some time in Alaska too.
Yeah, I was up in Alaska for like 10 years.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I was up there hunting wolverines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, you were hunting?
No. I have zero clue how to hunt, actually.
Yeah. Polar bears scare me, man.
Yeah. No, there's up there they have caribou, moose, bearded seal.
Bearded seal.
Yeah. They have a lot of different things up there.
You ever eat some moose?
Yeah.
That sounds like it tastes pretty good.
It depends how gamey. I don't like gamey. You know what gamey is? Where it's
Yeah,
like
I've had some elk that's gamey.
Yeah, I don't like to call it gamey because gamey means there's like no flavor to it.
No, there's definitely flavor.
Yeah.
I've had some deer too that's gamey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I don't know if you can fix that once it's in that form, you know?
No, you can. It depends. It also depends on the animal. If it's like a fatty animal, then it's like less gamey. But if it's like a strong like animal, that's means that like it's more gamey.
What made you move out of Alaska?
I got divorced.
That's a good reason.
And I was on a job there. I was living in a village. And I was on a job there for like 10 years. And a village means that it's flying only. You can only get there by airplane.
Wow.
It's super remote. And I just got to a point where I was like, okay, it's been fun, but I want to move on to something else. I was just kind of done. Then my wife divorced me, left me up there. And
jeez.
Yeah,
sounds like a top secret job.
Yeah. So then I'm like, all right, this is over. And I just moved on.
Wow. So you can only fly in there. You can't just casually drive there.
Yeah, you have to. So you go into Anchorage, find Anchorage, and you have to fly on like a 19-seater into the village I was in. And other villages, though, it's like a 4 or 5 or 6-seater. Sometimes you'll be there flying in there. Yeah.
Wow. What's it like living with such a small community?
It's different. I mean, everybody knows everybody. I grew up from small town Montana, but it's not really comparable to the village. The people in the village in Alaska, they have this, the coolest thing is they have this tradition where it's like you wave to everybody. Like everybody passing, a car passes, you pass, like everybody waves. So I'd like be up there and like the whole year as a school teacher, and then I come down like the States and I'd wave to like people on the street like in Vegas. Like, what are you doing?
They would get pissed.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, it's interesting to see how different cultures like act around each other, right?
Yeah, no, it's really up there. It's so much more of like people are more friendly because they're used to like surviving with each other. And you really need each other. Where compared to the States, you don't as much need each other as like up there. It's like life or death.
Yeah, yeah. Over here, you don't want interaction with your neighbors. I feel like
no, you want to be alone most of the time.
Yeah, like we got gates over here, gated communities.
Yeah, no, it's way different. So yeah, way friendlier out there.
You see that plane crash in Alaska recently?
Yeah. So my cousin sent me that, and I woke up to that, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Alaska. And I looked it up, and I clicked on the link. I was like, no way. Oh, where that happened at is one of the most standard basic routes in Alaska. It is like you driving in your car and going like 40 miles down the highway to another town. Like that's how basic it was. So it was like that flying in general is dangerous no matter what up there. But when I saw where I was at and I saw that like they're still investigating, they still don't have any information on it. From what I've seen last, I was shocked because that's such a normal, basic route. They do thousands of times a year.
Wow. That's crazy. What airline was it?
It was Bering Air.
Bering Air. I haven't heard of that one.
So they're an Alaska only airline. And that's also the thing is the plane was a caravan. And when I was up there flying, they had like the small the little puddle hoppers and stuff, like 4-seaters.
Yeah.
And then you had like some of the bigger ones. Bering Air Caravan is like one of the bigger planes up there for the bush. So it's a really sturdy, tough will plane. It could like the icing. If you ever heard of like icing on a plane, like
yeah, I had to do it in DC.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Up there, they have planes up there that they can de-ice when they're flying. And Bering,
whoa,
yeah, it's not like a full scale, like they're smaller, but not like a full scale like we get before you take off in the air, commercial airplane. But Yeah, so Bering Air was equipped, that plane was equipped with all those things. So
Hey guys, shout out to today's sponsor, Kinsta. Running an online business is already a challenge. Your website hosting shouldn't make it harder, and I've been there, dealing with slow load times, confusing dashboards, and unreliable support. That's why I switched over to Kinsta, and it's been a game changer for my brand. Since moving to Kinsta, my site loads faster, runs smoother, and I don't have to stress about downtime. Their intuitive dashboard makes managing everything simple, and their 24/7 expert support means I always have real people whenever to help when I need it. Kinsta's built for performance with blazing fast speeds, enterprise-level security, and 37 global data centers to ensure your site reaches audiences quickly. They also handle free migrations, so switching is effortless, and if you ever get a traffic spike, Kinsta automatically scales to keep your site online when it matters most. I'm not the only one who trusts Kinsta. TripAdvisor, NASA, Indeed, and over 120,000 businesses rely on Kinsta for their WordPress hosting. So if you want hosting that works, just make the switch to Kinsta today. Get your first month free. They'll even handle the migration for you. Just visit kinsta.com/DSH to get started. That's KINSTA.com/DSH.
I'm still curious, like, cause there's no Mayday, there was no, hey, we're going down, there was no transmission. Like it's the most mysterious plane crash I've ever seen.
Yeah. When there's a one-off crash, it's definitely mysterious. But when there's this many back-to-back, it's like, what's going on?
And completely unrelated. Like the one in DC compared to the one in Alaska, no relation whatsoever. They didn't cut down pilots. They're just completely unrelated.
And there was one in Philly,
Oh, the Philly one? Yeah.
Just like back-to-back. It seems like every week.
Yeah, it makes you really wonder, like, is this just like we haven't had plane crashes in a while, so now everyone's falling out of the sky, or is like there's something else going on here?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's definitely made me more scared to fly, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought about that flying today, and I really felt, especially for the DC one and the Alaska one hits hard to home, because I'm thinking all the time, I think when I'm flying in commercial, I'm like, oh, I'm safe. Like, what would actually happen? Like, I can't imagine, being on a plane that is like 100% guaranteed to get there, and you're like, it crashes. Where compared to Alaska, and almost every flight in Alaska is nerve-wracking
because of the ice.
The ice. I've taken off in like 50-mile-per-hour wind with snow coming down. Like, these pilots are good. That's the other thing about that crash in Alaska. These pilots are really, really good flying really well-weathered planes and stuff. Like, they know what they're doing, even though it looks crazy. The turbulence up there is nothing compared to what you've done down here. Like, in a small plane, like flying up. My buddy cracked his head one time flying up and down. Like, it's
jeez.
Some of the flying up there is wild.
Yeah, because it's snowing nonstop, right? You can't see shit.
Yeah, a lot of times it's freaking. The fog is the worst, because the fog is when the cloud cover is only like 100 feet or 50 feet or something, and that's when they really cancel a lot. But like, yeah.
I want to talk about your UFO horror movie, Redgate, and how that came about.
So there's this area that I grew up with in western Montana, and it's a valley in the town called Deer Lodge, and above the valley is this area where we've had all these weird UFO sightings. There was like a quadruple like murder, homicide, suicide up there.
Jeez.
There was just all these crazy things happening in this area called Redgate, and it's well documented. There was a film like 20 years ago came out, and it documented all these bizarre alien happenings in this area. So I always wanted to do a movie on it, because it used to be a campfire tale we would tell each other around the campfire. And the story goes, there used to be, back in like the 1800s, this community that lived up in the mountains, and they had like a schoolhouse, all these things, a little village or whatever. And this guy one day came home from his homestead, picked up an axe and chopped up his wife and 2 kids, and then went out to his homestead and painted his gate red with their blood.
Jeez.
And that was the original folklore of Redgate that people would tell around the campfire, because the gate was red from their blood. So then it kind of morphed from that into UFO happenings up there. Like, there's this big power transistor up there where the power lines run through, and there's like a lot of energy coming from that. So it's just like this really bizarre area.
What did you uncover during that?
I uncovered that a lot of it was pretty wild. Like, we would have our cars would stop working when we were up there. They would stop working. We had weird phone calls. I was driving home one night, and I had a car following me when I was investigating this.
Really?
It was literally following me all the way home, and I turned, and it like just disappeared completely.
What?
Yeah, what people talk about like the Men in Black and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty real. Like
Holy crap.
when you're doing this UFO like investigation stuff, like bizarre things happen. I woke up one day and I saw a black car like in my alley, like just sitting there, like looking at me. Then I like grabbed a glass of water, drank it, and put my head up, and the black car completely like disappeared completely. Just,
Damn. So they got some sort of cloaking technology.
yeah, weird. Like the Men in Black's a real thing. Like
Yeah.
they have something going on. It's super bizarre.
You think it's government or you think it's some sort of organization?
I think it's part government, it's part organization. Like Area 51, the stuff that comes out of there, 100% the government's involved to some extent, and there is 100% some kind of secret alien type technology that they are holding back. What it is, what they found. If you ever go to Roswell, I went down the Roswell, and if you ever go down the Roswell, check out Roswell. It's not the smallest, it's actually kind of big, but Roswell, the history of that and all they covered up with that it'll blow your mind.
Really?
The Roswell Museum in New Mexico will blow your mind. Like there's certain things that are like, okay, that could be a hoax, but Roswell, they covered that thing up. Like there's something went on there. Like something huge went on there. They completely covered the whole thing up.
That was the first major one, right? Roswell?
Roswell was. Because they had the pilot ever come out with this fake like styrofoam like tinfoil looking stuff that he tried claiming that was what was actually on the airplane that crashed, or the UFO that crashed. The truth is that was not actually on the UFO. It was like something completely different. And they're like, just go out there and just make up something about this stuff and we'll just make sure no one knows what's actually going on. Like,
wow.
It's wild.
That is nuts. I need to look more into that. I remember seeing documentaries about that one years ago.
Yeah.
But you never know what to believe because then you look at who makes a documentary.
Yeah.
And it could just be someone trying to like project a certain message.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. But like, yeah, at the Roswell Museum, like you could spend all day in that thing, like researching all like the documented reports, the documented eyewitness accounts, all these things. It's wild.
What was the biggest thing that stood out to you in that museum?
Oh, the eyewitness accounts.
Okay, so there's multiple of those.
There's like 9. There's something like 9 people that went to the wreckage site to describe something that was completely different than what the government put out there. There are people that were threatened not to say certain things. The amount of eyewitness accounts from Roswell would blow your mind if you ever went down there and checked it out.
Yeah, 9 is a lot, especially they don't know each other, just 9 separate people.
Yeah, like there is so many documented eyewitness accounts that describe something completely different. And then like the bodies or whatever they were talking about, they took it to a couple different air bases or whatever, and no one knows exactly what they did with it. It was just, it's crazy.
Wow.
And that happened right outside like a Air Force base or whatever, a base down there that they're operating out of. So like there's so much stuff with it.
You ever see any UFOs in Alaska?
I personally haven't. I was up there quite a ways. We get the Northern Lights or whatever. But they used to have one of the craziest stories up in Alaska. I could never verify if this is true or not, is the story of the Ishigak. And since you're in Alaska, super remote, if the ice freezes in the winter, so you can walk out to the ocean for like miles. It's all frozen. Yeah, miles. And they had this story of like, they would see these people out there in the middle of the ocean with like a lantern or something to light, and it looked like they were struggling. So these people be like, oh shoot, they're struggling. Someone's like walking around the coast. I'm gonna go out there and try to see if they're help them or whatever. So they walk and keep walking. This light would keep going and going. They keep following this light. And then they'd get out all the way out there and there'd be like nobody there. And then the person would get lost and like disappear and no one to hear from them again.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they called it the Ishigak because the Ishigak were these mythological legend, these people that lived in Alaska, but they lived like underground or something. They just come out with these weird lights and stuff and like just confuse people. Like it was really.
I wonder if that's a siren maybe too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Could be a siren, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's so many things that I believe in, you know?
Yeah.
I'm very conspiratorial.
No, it's wild. Like everything's like the moon landing's crazy. I've researched that over and over. I've debunked some of it, but there's still so much.
Which part did you debunk about the moon landing?
A lot of people said the phone call all the way up there.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. But then you say with that radio transmission from Houston, they just put the phone up to it or whatever. The footage, I still have a tough time with the footage, how they shot that. And they said, I read recently, they actually put a camera up to like an Australian broadcast because they could only get it from Australia or something and relayed it back to the United States. But do you ever hear about the the Shining director.
No, I didn't hear that one.
They did. This guy broke this all the way down. The guy that did he did all his movies. Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
Stanley Kubrick's Odyssey. This guy does this whole entire conspiracy video called Kubrick's Odyssey. And he breaks down how Kubrick was hired to shoot the moon landing, to fake it in a studio. And within the movie The Shining, he shows all these hints throughout the entire movie showing that, hey, the moon landing was fake. It's crazy. Like all these, like there's this rocket moon ship in one of the scenes, the carpet, like all these things within the movie The Shining. He's trying to reveal to everybody that, hey, look, the moon landing is faked and this is how we did it.
That's nuts. And that's in the movie The Shining?
The Shining. It's in the movie The Shining, like all these hints and clues. But yeah, I think there's a very valid argument that some of the footage might have been faked or shot somewhere. I think that's probably the most valid conspiracy I have.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
It still befuddles me how they could get a camera. You look at the weather and everything up there, how they could get a camera mounted and all these things and shoot it all and have it like.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, mounting a camera up there is probably super difficult.
And then like, okay, why we didn't go back? And people always blame like it was too expensive or like, I've heard so many explanations that don't make any sense. Like on planet Earth, we still are discovering new discoveries. You tell me there's nothing on the moon within like how many trips they did that you can't discover anything new that like, That's
not a good reason, yeah.
Yeah, like what would like, we're done with that. Now we're going to do the space station or whatever. And it's just, yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I get the cost, but it's like, yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
That's interesting. What about Mars? You think we sent rovers to Mars?
I think so. I don't know.
Some people are theorizing they're like in the U.S., like they're just in the desert somewhere.
I've seen videos of people reenacting the desert and the Mars videos. I think Mars is a really curious one that Elon Musk thinks that we're going to get people to Mars.
Like, yeah.
Is he really going to do that, or is that just like a smokescreen for something else?
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to figure out Elon Musk, right?
Oh, that guy's all over the place. I studied him a lot. He's genius. He has that like autistic. I was bullied as a kid, so I want to like deep down inside make the world pay or whatever. And like he has that characteristic to him.
100%.
But yeah, he's a really interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a tough nut to crack, man. Especially now that he's in politics. It's like, all right, what's your angle here?
Yeah, I'm always looking at that. I mean, angle for more money for his programs and all those things. But I'm always like, what's the ultimate goal being directly involved in politics now?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So haunted houses, you been in any of those? I saw your YouTube.
Yeah. I've been in several haunted houses. We have a place. I live out in Montana. It's where I grew up in Prison Town, Montana, where the actual prison is located. Mm-hmm. And the prison used to be located in town, and then they moved it out of town a couple miles. And the old prison is a museum now, and that place is haunted. Like they do ghost tours in there like all the time. Mm. Like we used to run. We did a theater group in there. We used to do theatrical performances. They had this stage inside the old prison, and we get keys to the prison, and we would go into the old prison afterwards and do our own ghost tours and stuff.
Wow.
And you'd hear crazy things. It's been on all kinds of different channels, like the History Channel and stuff. You'd get some people have felt stuff. And they still do it today. They'll like people will pay to get locked in the prison for an entire night.
What?
Yeah, they will pay. They'll pay to get locked in there for an entire night and get the entire like experience.
I would hate that.
So like, yeah, we're going through these old cell blocks at like midnight in the pitch dark, and all you got is like some of the street lights coming out from the street. It's just so creepy.
Yeah, just the unsettling feeling of what's with me in this room right now is like creepy, right?
Yeah. And yeah, you hear stuff, and there's like this one room where there's this priest or whatever, and they said there were satanic rituals that went on in this room. This guy was killed here, and then you had a prison riot years ago where like people died and everything. They're like, you have this tower, they'll go in, see if they hear anything.
Jeez.
Just super creepy stuff.
Did you try talking to them with a spirit box or?
We did EV recorder.
Yeah.
We did a record a long time ago, and I would take the audio files, then break them down. It always feels like you pulled up something. I didn't quite pull up anything like huge, but there are definitely some things where I was like, okay, scary enough, I'm gonna stop doing this.
Yeah, it's hard to get definitive like evidence, right?
It's really hard. I've watched the Ghost Hunters a lot. The Ghost Hunters actually went in the old prison, but it's like, it's hard to get something like definitive.
Yeah, because I feel like they're in a different dimension.
They are. I think so too.
I think so.
The spirit realm and our realm, I think, are two completely different dimensions.
Yeah, that's why whenever you see the photos are like so blurry, it's like,
yeah,
I don't even know what that is, you know?
What do you think? Do you believe in like all world theory or multi worlds or
like multiple dimensions?
Yeah, like there's
Mandela effect.
Mandela. There's unlimited versions of you, unlimited versions of me.
I think so. Yeah.
100%. There's a version of you that's broke, drunk, laying on the street.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a version of you that's like Elon Musk or something. Yeah.
Simulation theory, right?
I 100% believe in simulation theory.
I think so.
I think I believe that's one thing that Elon Musk says. Like, there's like 1 in a billion chance that we're not living in, that we're base reality. Like,
which is crazy.
Yeah, I think we're 100% living. Religion, to some extent, confirms that. Religion says there's an afterlife, so it's like, okay, then this is essentially a simulation.
Wow, that's a good point. Yeah, they all have their sort of interpretations on afterlife.
Yeah,
whether it's heaven, hell, or reincarnation or something.
And that's, to me, that's basically them admitting that we're not living in base reality. So like,
right, it's not one and done.
Yeah, it's not one and done. And I, to some extent, I believe in reincarnation. Maybe we're just going out to the outer world, just coming right back in, born again, and then going through it again.
I mean, it's interesting. I've done past life therapy. Have you heard of that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's interesting.
Did they pull up anything?
Yeah, and it'd be hard to like make up such detailed lives, like for multiple people, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I should do that someday.
I'm down to try a bunch. Like I've done random stuff like Reiki healing and
really, I've done
hypnosis therapy.
There's so much on YouTube I've tried because they're all the stuff's free pretty much. You can just like do deep meditation.
Yeah.
I've done a ton of stuff.
I've done that too. The binaural beats meditation.
Yeah, you did the binaural beats?
Dude, those are nuts.
Are they? Yeah.
You tried those?
I've tried some of the higher end ones or whatever. If you really sit there for like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wild.
Monroe Institute. Have you tried that one?
I don't think I tried that one.
They're the guys that pretty much mastered remote viewing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they have one for like summoning UFOs out of the stars. There's some crazy shit.
Oh, I was doing that as part of the Redgate movie. There was
for Stephen Greer, right?
Stephen Greer, yeah.
Yeah.
Remote view. I've tried some of those things, and they get together. Stephen Greer's groups, they get together and they all meditate on the same things or whatever. And then they've had so many UFO like type sightings at these like huge events they do. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows, man? I tried one like trying to connect with a loved one that deceased. That one freaked me out.
Did it?
I got the most unsettling feeling I've ever felt.
Really?
Yeah. I had to stop doing it.
That's wild.
It felt so weird.
Dude, I've done demonology.
What's that?
Calling on demons, get certain tasks done or goals.
Holy crap. That's the thing?
I have it's a huge thing. I have this entire book on demonology. When I was doing Redgate, I got into all kinds of crazy stuff. And the demonology, you have like all these different legions of demons. You have like the main legion, the main people like Satan, Lucifer's at the top, obviously. Yeah. So you can call on Lucifer to get done any task you want, or there's this ritual you do, or you can call down to the lower legions. So like the reason they say go into like the lower legions of demons is like specific demons accomplish specific tasks. So if you want to make like $50 billion this year, just something outrageous or something stupid, there's a specific demon that deals with money. So you start out by calling out to Lucifer, and then you go on to the second level of legion and this person. And then if there's a third person, a third legion that you might go lower to, that's more specific, you call on them. And the way you like get these demons to come to you or whatever is they all have this pathway. They're called pathways, and you sit back and you imagine this entire pathway of like, for like Lucifer, it's like it's this desert, and then you're imagining like a tree, and then you're imagining like silver coming out of a tree, and then that's how you like summon that demon.
Wow.
So you summon Lucifer, then you summon the next one, then you summon the next one, and then you put in your request, and then they have a way to like unsummon each one.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
that's intense.
It was wild. I was doing some wild light a candle. I was doing some wild stuff with the demonology for a while.
Damn. And did you actually see results from that?
A mixed bag. So I was doing a lot. I got some results,
Really?
I always think though, if you keep it pure and you're not like cursing somebody, like you can go on Etsy. I don't know if you notice, there's all these different love spells you can cast on anybody. And on Etsy, you can cast death spells on people.
No way. On Etsy?
Yeah, you can go on Etsy and cast a death spell on someone you don't like.
They should probably ban that before they get sued.
I know. I was
You
like,
know?
yeah, I was like researching all these spells when I was doing Redgate, trying to figure out where this energy comes from, ghost energy, aliens, all this stuff. So I got into all that stuff, and I was going through like all these spells on Etsy, and like some were like horrible negative spells you can put on someone you don't like.
I definitely feel like there's like evil eye spells and stuff.
Oh,
I try to cleanse pretty often.
You should.
I do the egg cleanse and I do other cleanses.
I was in Alaska and I ran a church, a Catholic church in Alaska, and part of the church, we didn't have priests up there like American priests, so we'd fly priests in from all over. And once we flew in a Nigerian priest, and after church one day, I was like, okay, I've heard about like voodoo and all that stuff. Is that stuff like real? Like, I mean, come on, you're a Catholic priest. That stuff's not like real or whatever. He's like, oh no, it's very real.
Damn.
He's like, it is very real. Like people have done stuff and you can see it actually happen. It's like, he told me so many stories about like they would cast these voodoo spells on people and legit it would happen. Like something horrible would happen to that person.
One of my psychic mentors told me the power in Nigeria and I think he said Brazil too. They just have some really dark powers over there for some reason.
They do. I was like shocked to hear that from him. He's going into details like, wow, that's wild.
Dude, that's nuts. So those voodoo dolls, like there's some actual truth to those?
100%. There's truth to like all of it. And then people believe in karma if you do something to someone that comes back. Then there's other ones like some of these death spells are like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll do a karma prayer afterwards or whatever. That person will die, but you'll be fine.
That's crazy. No, I definitely believe in karma.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like what goes around comes around. If you're cheating on your girlfriend or whatever, it's gonna come back around.
Yeah. I've never heard of karma purge though. That sounds like an excuse. I don't know about that one.
Because they say it's a ricochet with the spells or whatever. If you do any negative spells or whatever, it's back. But I don't know.
I feel like it'll chase you in the next life if you don't address it in this life too.
100%. Yeah.
That is nuts. You used to live stream a little bit, right?
Yeah. I was live. So I got into live stream on TikTok 2 years ago. It was way hotter then, in my opinion, than it is now. It was just wild because I was like, before that, I didn't know. I tried all these different things to make money online. And that was the first time I started making like real money online, is live streaming on TikTok. And the way to do it is you go in, you hang out for a little while, talk to your crowd, and you do these TikTok live battles. I don't know how many people know those.
The rap battles?
Yeah, the rap battles.
Yeah, I've seen those.
The virtual battles, and people will send like virtual gifts to you for like a 5-minute period. And it's a way of, it was kind of created as a way for people to support you that follow you and like your content or whatever. And I was heavy into that for a while because it was just fun and you can make money. But it's just got, to me, I got out of it. It just got so corrupt with the money stuff because people would recycle on there. Do you know what recycling is?
No, what is that?
So like people got, when you added money, people care so much about pride and looking good and all these things. So what they would do during these battles is they would recycle. So what recycling is like, okay, we're friends. You battled tonight. I'll throw you like, I don't know, 100,000 diamonds or whatever. Then in my next battle, you throw me back 100,000 diamonds. And the diamonds cost real money, so you're losing money doing it. But people would, these groups, they recycle back and forth and back and forth. And that's kind of how a lot of that works. So you're like, there's a lot of trust involved. So you're like, you trust they're going to like pay you back basically if you go for them. But a lot of that money stuff got so corrupt that people would be willing to almost lose money doing it just to look good.
Wow.
So like I go to battles. I got to a point, where I used to be like a good battle for me when they first started was like 10,000 to like 9,000 or something. Now it's like people are scoring like 1 million diamonds in a battle.
Holy crap. Yeah. And how much US dollars is that?
1 million diamonds in a battle is so that would be, I think it's like $5,000.
Damn. Yeah. For an hour? That's really good money.
Yeah.
But most of it was recycled.
Yeah, a lot of it was recycled. The most I made ever was like, I had a big throw out of nowhere and he threw me like I got $3,000 in like an hour.
Holy crap.
So it's like the high end is cool. But it's so corrupt, like these guys that throw also get taken. This guy on that stream that night, we were doing box, it was just 4 different people in a box. And there's this kid, he's in one of those Asian countries or whatever. His name was Bear, and just nice kid, scam artist. I'm sure. But they'll do it from these different countries. They'll just beg and then made up all kinds of stories. He's sick, he's this, he's whatever. This guy went off the app and started sending this kid money. Sent him over $800,000.
What?
Yeah, sent him, like ruined his business, everything. Like in the end, he said the total, like My buddy's like, yeah, the total is $800,000.
Just to rap?
Just he got in. They get in through the battles or whatever, and like, oh, please, and be super nice. Thank you. No, thank you. And like all these things, all these people do these 50 different countries. They try to get connected with an American that has a bunch of money.
Oh, like a whale.
Yeah, like a whale. They want to get a whale and then get that whale and do anything. And like, oh, I need to pay for my family this or that, and this is going on, and then they'll just make up anything.
Wow.
And this kid just took him. Well, he's probably backed by his family. Just took him for every single cent he was worth.
Like a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That was nuts.
It was freaking wild.
And then you moved into other avenues of making money. Did you get into meme coins?
Meme coins. I'm just breaking the meme coins. So I started with meme coins. There's this guy for the Super Bowl, and he was banking on the Kansas City Chiefs to like three-peat in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he had this KC three-peat coin, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So he paid me some money, but he paid me a lot in like Solana or whatever, meme coin stuff. So like, oh, cool. So I'll just hold it. I held it. And it's like, okay, this might, if it bursts open, it could be worth a lot. I'll just cash out when I'm done or whatever, because that's how he's going to pay me. And then, well, KC didn't three-peat. KC.
They got wrecked.
Got ruined by like 50 billion points. And so it's like,
coin tanked from there, I bet.
Coin tanked completely. I cashed out for like 5 cents or something.
Damn. How much was it at first?
I get up. It wasn't that high. It got up to like $500 when I was promoting.
Oh,
it.
okay.
I mean, the value of it was, well, my share, it was like 10 million coins.
Yeah.
$500.
So you were hoping for like 100x on that?
Yeah, I was thinking, well, if I hold on to it, if they win the Super Bowl, it could go up. And then my brother was on his Coinbase, like, do you know there's like a bunch of KC three-peat coins? Like, oh, maybe I don't have the winning lottery ticket.
That's how meme coins work.
Yeah.
Once one's made, they just copy them, and you never know which one's a real one to buy.
Yeah. So then after that, I took whatever I had. It was like $100. I tried launching my own meme coin, which I didn't really know what I was doing. So that I don't think I even set it up right or whatever.
No, that's a tough space, dude.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video. So now I'm going to be launching another official actual meme coin here coming up. We're not sure what we're going to call it. Maybe Bad Napoleon, something like that, just to meme like the jokes I do online or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. We got to go back to the NFL real quick. Do you think the NFL is rigged?
100%. I think 100% to some degree. These games are rigged. If you go back to the 70s, there's this mobster that had actual information that says, look, the mob bosses own more of the NFL than you realize. The NFL was originally created by people who wanted to gamble money on sports. Like football was created by those owners. That was the original idea of football. And the mob would tell these guys to say, like, there'd be so many games, the mob would have so much money on the games. A quarterback would throw an interception here or there just to make sure this hit or that hit. I had information on the Dallas Cowboys Green Bay Packers game, the playoff game. I had information from one of my sources in Vegas that Jerry Jones threw that game intentionally and only a couple people knew about it.
Wow.
Because I'm watching this game and I'm thinking, how in the world did the Cowboys be that freaking good? And Green Bay's a little bit hot coming in. They won a couple games in a row. The Cowboys are that freaking good, and suddenly Dak plays horrible. But if you watch that Cowboys-Packers game, there's plays where there's not a defender within 20 yards of a Packers receiver.
Jeez.
Like, I don't know. Like, you go from one of the best defenses in Dan Quinn's in Washington now, who just made the playoffs. You tell me that guy suddenly can't call a defensive game plan where there's not a defender within 20 yards of a receiver? Like, there's stuff like that. And then you go with the Pat Mahomes stuff. They 100% give calls to great players. Michael Jordan got in the 90s.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, the last couple of years in New England, the year they made it to the Super Bowl, there are so many missed calls that went in New England's favor magically, and they lost to the Eagles. But like, there's so much stuff. There's so much money involved with every single game. Like, there's just no way some of that stuff isn't rigged.
Yeah. I wonder what Jerry Jones' angle would be, because he's already a billionaire.
Yeah, that was my whole thing. Is like, I don't know what his angle was exactly like on that, but someone's told me something within Vegas that's something to do with Jerry Jones. So I have no clue, but like, there's just so much there. It's just crazy.
Well, the betting market's bigger than the actual sports now, right? It's gotten that big.
The betting market's huge, and I'm huge in the sports betting. A lot of it. So that's other argument back and forth with that. If it's just simple, like Vegas never loses. There's not huge buildings out here because Vegas lose. They never lose. But you can track who Vegas wants to win. And that's kind of why it's hard. If you just knew who Vegas wants to win, well, wouldn't you just bet that? If it was that simple, everybody would do that. But it's a lot more difficult than just figuring out who Vegas wants to win. For like the Super Bowl this past year, I tracked everything. And Vegas, for the most part, during the NFL season, took a beating from the public.
Really?
They like, MGM guys were telling me like they really, really needed the Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Like,
because the Chiefs were favored, or
they're favored by a little bit, not much. There were a bunch of sharps that were on the Eagles. I still didn't know which way the game was going to go, but all the books that I had information on all said that they needed the Eagles, and they're not going to go under if the Eagles lose. But to make a profit on the season as a whole or do well, they really needed the Philadelphia Eagles to win that game. And the Eagles crushed it. Another one, like, where Vegas won big on is, say, like Saquon Barkley, for example, to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. You're like, okay, that seems pretty straightforward. Why the heck would that guy not score a touchdown? Their offense is moving up and down the field, and a ton of money was on Saquon to score a touchdown from the public and sharps and everything else. And magically he didn't score a touchdown. So like there's stuff that's like, okay, what?
That's interesting.
Like you think the Eagles would at least do that thing where like they didn't do the Walter Payton, like, okay, just give him the ball, let him score in the Super Bowl.
He had like the best season of all time, right? He almost hit 2,000 yards this season.
Yeah, he would have hit 2,000, but they pulled him in this last game. And
I saw the clip of that.
Yeah. No, he was crazy.
Are you profitable on sports betting?
No.
Makes sense.
And if you go on these pick sites like Pick Watch, there's like a Pick Watch, it's like $5 to see all the expert picks, and they have like the expert picks, like hardly anybody's profitable.
Really?
There's only like 1 or 2% of people that sports bet are actually profitable.
Damn. And
it's through value betting. You find value in plays and equal value betting or arbitrage. There's arbitrages. You go on different books and you'll bet one way then the other way, and then it doesn't matter who wins, you'll still make.
My buddy used to do that, but then he said a whale came in and wrecked him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He used to make like 7 figures a year doing that.
Oh, really? Arbitrage?
Yeah. $1 million plus a year. And then one day some heavy whale just wrecked everything.
Gosh, that's the thing. So I do it for fun, or you can sell picks. That's kind of fun. But the people selling picks, like, I don't know,
it's a bad look.
It's a dirty business.
It's a bad look.
I've tried doing that, but it's just so dirty. I did it like a couple weeks ago, and the ones I posted publicly, every single one lost for free. Yeah. I went over 7.
It's like you said, only 1% of people make money. Those 1% are not selling picks, because if they did, they wouldn't be 1%.
Exactly. If you're making money sports betting, why would you sell your picks?
Yeah, you'd make less, because then everyone knows your picks and the lines would get messed up.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, 100%. Like,
so yeah, it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
Well, Patrick, it's been cool, man. Where can people find you and see what you're up to?
It's just Patrick W. Cutler on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It's the same across the board. So yeah.
Cool. Stay tuned, guys. We'll link everything below. Thanks for watching.